I'm going to do a tiny bit of housekeeping whilst we're just waiting for other people to join, because this obviously goes out to everyone who's registered as a recording as well. So as you would have seen in the notes to you in advance of today's session, we're going to be talking a little bit and then we're going to be doing a practice. So hopefully all of you joining live and anyone accessing this afterwards, please do find a comfortable place to feather your nest. Make sure that you've got clothing that's going to keep you warm if you're somewhere that's a bit chilly, because by being still, you're likely to feel cooler. And then the most important thing is to ensure that you've got headphones on, because when you come to experience the AromaSounds experience with Lisa, it's really important that we're getting those sound vibrations, and it can be quite difficult to do that through your laptop or your iPhone or your tablet. So please do make sure you're connected up as we asked you to do in the notes. And then also please make sure you've got with you a scent, an essential oil. We'll be talking about that, and it's linked to the Aroma Sounds experience as we go through this evening as well. So those are the main things for you to be aware of and get ready. If you haven't got those things around you and you're joining us live, do dash off and get them. And Lisa and I are going to start the conversation. But this is going to be a really special, nurturing session, I hope, for all of you this evening. For those of you who are new to MPOWDER, I know that we are getting all kinds of new people joining the community, which is such a beautiful thing. And it's a really international community now as well, which we're really proud of. And you will know, if you're experiencing the brand for the first time, that we talk a lot when we first meet you about the concept of community. And for us, it's probably one of the most fundamental cornerstones of our health. And we're learning more and more about the value of networks, of tribes, of people, of human connection. And for us as an ecosystem, we know that our formulations, our consultations, the coaches we work with, the practitioners we support, everything works better when you're part of a community. And that's what we try and create with these monthly sessions we have with you here online. The idea behind them really is to encourage curiosity. So each month you come into these sessions and you'll meet someone fabulous like Lisa. We have such a broad network of practitioners. It could be Lisa one month, December. For those of you that are looking ahead, we will be doing a session on journaling, but quite often it may be a medical doctor coming into the room to talk to us about hormone therapy. It could be an acupuncturist, a facialist, and we're very much really just inviting you to be curious, because I think, again, as a muscle, that curiosity is really valuable as we navigate midlife. And so with that in mind, I know many of the people joining this evening may not have experienced Aroma Sounds, which is a very unique offering that has been developed by Lisa around the concept of essential oils and also sound therapy effectively, and the use of sound bowls. And before I start asking and bombarding her with questions, what I'm going to be doing is just giving you a little bit of context to her as a human, because she's also a real favourite within this community. And I think it's in part, it's the wisdom she's going to be sharing with you, but I think in part it's her own life journey that has led her to what she does now, that resonates so much with the women that we work with at MPOWDER. So Aroma Sounds, as I mentioned, is a unique multifaceted healing modality that has been developed that uses these sonic frequencies that we're going to talk about in a moment, that are created by the crystal sounds, and they have really valuable positive impact on us as humans. But we're going to be talking about them within the context of essential oils, which is the modality really that is the key differentiator in the way that Lisa works. And what's wonderful about essential oils is we're learning more and more actually about the science and the impact that they have on our body as well. Lisa, welcome to this evening's masterclass. It's such a joy to have you here.
Joy to be here, my darling. And you talk about community, and I absolutely agree. Part of the essential oil connection for me is nature. It's
Mm,
for me, essential oils are that condensed, that essence of the plant in a bottle, which brings nature from out there out beyond our reach for some of us who are city based or often in our homes. And it just literally brings it to us. But it's almost that it's that mycelium network context. It's the root context. It's the connection to one another makes us stronger. And those of us who feel that we're in need, we lean into the other and we're supported. And so
mm,
the Empower community for me it's so much about community, and that's pivotal in all I do, because it's all about connection. It's
mm.
about finding that connection within ourselves. But when you try to do that on your own, it can be a real lonely journey. So yes, community has always been huge for me, which is why I feel so at home here with you, my love.
Oh, thank you. Well, look, talk to us a little bit because I've heard your own menopause story a number of times. I've had the pleasure of knowing you now for 4 or 5 years. Can you talk to me about your journey through menopause? I know that you're in the post-menopause club like me now, but talk to us about that. And also, I think particularly for you, your understanding of the need for rest and permission to rest really arose during that period of your life, didn't it? And has led you to do what you do now as a practitioner. Can you just tell us a little bit about how you felt and how your route back to wellness?
Absolutely. I think this modality arose because I was seeking ways to support my nervous system, to support my hormonal imbalances. As
Mm.
I was a busy mum, I was juggling two businesses, I was a yoga teacher, I had my own little yoga studio, and I was doing what we do. I was showing up and I wasn't letting
Mm,
people down, and I was whizzing to do the school run and getting back and do my first class and then da 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 da. And I would be absolutely knackered by either 11:30 or maybe 2:30. It was either pre lunch or post lunch, and
mm,
I would just find myself being absolutely literally floored. And so I started an intense journey with a beautiful practice called yoga nidra. And yoga nidra, it actually means yoga sleep, but it's not snoozing on your yoga mat. It's actively going through the stages of deep relaxation and deep connection, where you're really focusing your sense awarenesses drawing inwards. You know, you're really using the opportunity to move your attention and your awareness inwards. And it's, for me, that became my initial introduction to cellular healing on an energetic level. And
mm,
actually, for me, it was also deeply a vibrational frequency shift that happened when I experienced yoga nidra. And so that was one of the first modalities that I started to get really curious about. And then my yoga teaching, I started to explore sound medicine and sound work. And again, within a yoga context, Nada yoga is the yoga of sound. So Nada,
mm,
so sound medicine and the yoga of sound and sound frequencies and vibration, it's been around for eons. You know,
mm,
yoga, sound yoga can be termed as om, you know, chanting
mm,
the sound of a bell. It can denote the sound of a heart chord. There's a huge philosophical understanding of nada yoga too. And so I started to dive into that as part of my yoga practice, and started to receive alchemy crystal tone sound healing as part of my healing journey on my perimenopause journey. I experienced deep grief with the loss of my grandparents in the middle of my perimenopausal journey. And then I stopped pushing and I gave in, and I put myself on the mat every day and I listened to sound and I did my yoga nidra. But I was also working with essential oils on a daily basis. I have been for 10 years or so.
mm,
And it made sense for me to almost prime my body before I took deep rest, before I received the sounds. And so I started to almost kind of like put pieces of a puzzle together, because I would just think I need some help to help me feel more grounded, to help me feel more steady. So I'd grab cedarwood, or I'd grab vetiver oil, or I'd grab frankincense, an oil that I knew was really calming for my nervous system, and I'd rub it on my feet and I'd breathe it in, and maybe I'd massage it into my neck, and I'd really start to almost anoint my body in places where I knew my lymphatic drainage, my vagal nerve connection around my throat. I would put it on my heart space. I would put it on my feet where I knew my kidney energy was depleted. So I'd put it near my kidney meridian. And I would weave all of the knowledge from my studies of acupuncture and shiatsu and aroma point therapy. I would just bring all of these pieces together to prepare my body so that when I took deep rest through either guided yoga and nidra, to get my body into a state of real calm. And then I would listen to sound. I would have one of my teacher's recordings, or I would go to a studio and receive the sounds. And oh my goodness, the weaving of those modalities together, it gave me like a 360, a 5D experience of not just replenishment, but deep connection. And it felt as though my pathways were more harmonious. My energy started to, it was like warp speed energy, as opposed to just kind of plugging in for a refill. It was like, okay, there's something potent that's just happened there. And so I was experimenting with like the oils. I was experimenting with deep rest, with yoga nidra. I was experimenting with sound experiences. And then, of course, what tends to happen with me is if I get passionate about something, I start to bring it into my life, and then I study it, and I study
Mm.
the Jesus out of it. And then next thing I know, 3 trainings in, 15 alchemy crystal bowls, I start to share it. And
Yeah.
then I start to share it, and I start to say, okay, we're going to weave in some oils because it really, really works. And before we go to our sound, we're going to do a beautiful rest, and we're going to guide the body through a rest, and we're going to apply the oils through touch. And so we are touching the body. And so this whole modality of aroma sounds, it came through my 4 or 5 years of perimenopause, where I was working with the oils to support my hormonal imbalances. I was working with yoga nidra to support my deep rest, and I was working with sound that really was taking me on another level on my healing journey. It felt as though it was the the expander that I needed. It wasn't just physical, it supported my energy systems, not just a replenishment of energy, which sound absolutely does, because sound works in a frequency form and a vibrational form, and it almost palpates our cells, like massages our cells. And so we know from a science background, mitochondria in the cells, and often in perimenopause, our cells aren't functioning so well, and there's a lot of tiredness and depletion. The sound comes in and it almost goes, come on, cells, let's move things around. And then this happens, and you have this beautiful experience of cellular breathing sometimes, which feels like the cells are actively expanding and you're feeling them expand. And you come out and it's like, woof, what happened? What just happened? I feel like I've been plugged in, and maybe we have almost a spiritual journey because we're taken out of our physicality of our body, and the release happens on an emotional level. That whole idea of our issues are often held in our tissues. And so sound and oils, they work in this beautiful synergistic way where they are not asking our head to do any work. They're
Mm.
working with the natural intelligence of our body and the innate intelligence of either the essential oils or the frequencies. They're
Mm.
bypassing our cognitive, right? I'm going to make this, I'm going to feel this because I'm doing this way. The ask of us is to just lie there. And as a perimenopausal woman, I was so up for that. Don't give me another task to do. Just let me lie
Just
here.
let me lie here forever. I'm going to come on to talk about sound again in a second because I find it so fascinating. But we've spoken a lot about essential oils, and I'm someone who has a very acute sense of smell, but I really don't understand the world of essential oils. And when we were preparing for this evening session, you were talking to me about the link of where oils sit and the
Yeah.
way that they can support different symptoms that we may be experiencing in perimenopause or in life. And what was so beautiful was the way that you were describing it was almost like our physical body as females, and then Mother Nature and the brilliance of her almost mirroring or guiding us in terms of what she's selecting for the different things we're struggling with. So as Lisa's talking to us, I'd love to know if any of you brought essential oils into the session this evening, what you've chosen, or lunchtime for you, Devon, what you've chosen to work with today. But Lisa, could you talk us through how different essential oils behave and where they appear in Mother Nature? Because it was such a beautiful revelation to understand a little bit more about the stuff I'm drawn to almost instinctively at different points in my day or in different points in my life when I'm feeling different things, and how they link so acutely to what you then told me. So we've got some
Yeah.
eucalyptus that Devon's brought today.
Oh,
Gorgeous.
beautiful, really clearing,
Mm.
very good for the respiratory system. I mean, it's so beautiful actually, Devon, that you brought eucalyptus. You know, eucalyptus, a beautiful herbal oil. And what we were talking about earlier is we pick up an oil, you know, we might have
Mm.
mint, we might have cedarwood, we might have rose, we may have lavender. And on some day, you will absolutely go for that rose. You will absolutely
Mm.
go for that lavender. On another day, you'll pick up the orange or the grapefruit. It will just be the one that you just need. And
Mm.
believe you me, the field of aromatherapy, and especially clinical aromatherapy, it's vast. It's a vast field. And my work tends to specialize more in the subtle aromatherapy field as opposed to the clinical aromatherapy field, which is more about working with the emotions and working with sensitivities that we are calling upon. But the oils don't make a distinction. The oils are both clinical because they support our physiological system, and subtle, they'll work with our energetics. So they don't make a distinction, it's just our Western minds which like to categorize. And
Mm,
one way that I really try to simplify, almost, so that I'd love to share this kind of very simple framework because it served me well over the last 10 years. It's almost kind of thinking, as Rebecca said, thinking of where that plant is from in nature. Actually thinking about picking up a bottle and actually thinking, what is this? This is an orange oil, a beautiful grapefruit oil. And then think of where that comes from the tree. And so the citrus oils are often called top note oils. And again, there's a beautiful synergy here with music and sound. So we call them
mm,
top notes. And these top note oils are often citrus oils or they're mint oils. And often they come from the top of the tree. So a citrus oil will come from the zest of the fruit. The peppermint oil will come from the leaf of the plant. But often what happens is if we're foggy minded or if we're feeling like, oh, we've got so much to get through today and our brain feels as though it's actually reaching for an oil that is either a citrus oil or a mint oil will be really beneficial, really help to clear the fog. It will really, citrus oils are known to be incredibly effective for clearing out the grime. So actually,
mm,
if we think of an awakening oil, that would be great for helping our cognitive impairment, whether it's brain fog,
mm,
whether
mm.
it's just really kind of feeling sluggish with our thinking. Rosemary is great for clearing away mental fog also. And we can actively, we're encouraged to put rosemary in our shampoo to
Mm,
help stimulate
mm.
follicles for hair growth. It's known to really help with focus and concentration. And so we've got top note oils, easy to
That kind
find.
of affect us here, that help us here. So the top of our own tree. Yeah.
Yeah, with our thinking, with our cognitive abilities, it will really help us to be sharper and to
Mm,
be clearer and to be a little more awake. And then we've got areas around our chest and our heart space. And, we can kind of think, well, this is more my emotional center. This is more where I feel the heartache or I'm closed. And this is often our lungs also. Again, from a Chinese medicine point of view, we understand that our lungs are often to do with grief and us closing in and shutting down. And
mm.
actually the opposite of that is to be open, and it's to have, so eucalyptus, Devon, is beautiful for helping our airways open and helping us to breathe more easily. So this is all about respiratory system, but it's also about the heart. And so leaf oils, herbal oils and floral oils are known to support this part of the body. So this is like the mid
Mm.
notes. So these notes are called, on the essential oil kind of categorization, these are our mid-note oils. And so our mid-note oils can sit within this area
So,
of the,
yeah.
it's
Actually, Devon's just saying that, talking about the top notes again, she used to take citrus into the classroom when she was teaching elementary school kids. And Lisa, just so we've got it front of mind, has brought in a beautiful blend. She's brought in chamomile, cedarwood, and frankincense.
whoa, that's so beautiful,
Mm,
Lisa.
that sounds like a good blend. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. And so again, chamomile is really soothing, really soothing. We would use chamomile for babies. It's a very
Mm,
gentle oil, and we'd have chamomile tea. And so we've got these beautiful, soft, soothing. I always think of the petals as being soft. And geranium is one of my favorite oils.
mm,
I've got it in one of my oil blends that I brought this evening. And actually, geranium, it's not so much the petals, it's actually from the leaves. So geranium oil is taken from the leaves of a geranium plant. I've got my lovely geranium
mm.
plant, which is my ever forgiving geranium plant there. But when you touch the leaves of a geranium plant, they're like little plump velveteen leaves.
Yes.
And that's where the oil is from. The oil is from the leaves. So often a lot of our floral oils are taken, and it makes me think, actually, I just want something soft. I want something calming and soothing. And often our floral oils will do that. So they'll support us in this area of our being.
Yep.
And as Lisa's got cedarwood and frankincense, cedarwood, when we think about oils that are from the trees or bark of the tree or the roots of a tree, anything that is into the soil and then beyond.
Mm,
And so oils like vetiver, which is a beautiful root from a grass, cedarwood, which is taken from the bark and the branches, frankincense, which is a resin that comes from tapping the bark of the boswellian tree, that the boswellian tree. So you're tapping and sap comes out, this resin comes out, and that's what is distilled into the oil. And so when you think about needing to feel more grounded and steady and centered, and like you need some support to feel like you're not flying off the handle all the time, I would reach for your grounding, steadying tree oils or root oils. And so, again, thank you, Mother Nature, for making
Mm.
this so super easy,
Yeah,
because we share the same biochemistry, we share the same
yeah,
chemistry as Mother Nature. So it shouldn't be a surprise to us. And actually, our brains try to complicate everything, but when we simplify it, it's such a lovely, very simple model we can work with. If I feel like I'm foggy, we have some beautiful peppermint, some citrus. If I'm feeling like I've got a heartache, if I feel like I just need to soften the harsh edges of my over analytical mind, we bring in lavender, rose, geranium. But if we feel like we're really struggling to keep ourselves steady or grounded, we go for our root herbs and our root oils. And I miss digestion, but think of
yes.
ginger oil again is a root oil, but it's warming and it's really
Mm,
beautiful for digestion. We'd use ginger in our tea again or in
yep.
herb concoction, and we know that that generates heat. And so anything that is warming for the digestive system is going to increase movement and flow. And so again, I'm rubbing my belly because ginger is a mid base oil. And so I would put that on my belly to support a better digestive tract. I think anything to keep it simple, anything
Mm,
to make it feel really readily available for our body, it's going to be the right choice. And
mm,
often it's interesting, Lisa, you mentioned you brought a blend. Something magical happens when you create a blend of oils, because the molecular structure of those single oils, they all obviously create a new beautiful gifting of these potential benefits for us.
mm,
Vetiver oil on its own has trillions of beneficial compounds and molecules to it. But then when you add it with rosemary, for example, which is in your favorite blend,
mm,
Rebecca, the To Be Present blend, inviting a beautiful synergy which talks to the needs of your body. And so, just very briefly, that rosemary and vetiver blend, that will serve whatever your needs are at that time. It may be that you feel ungrounded, it may be that you
mm,
feel like you're too much in your head. And
mhm,
so putting that oil into your olfactory system, your breath, or on your body through your epidermis, through the actually massaging into the skin, your body is absorbing it, and your body will innately, it'll know what to do. It'll know
mm,
if you need to feel more grounded, it'll bring you back into your body. If it needs to clear any fog in the brain, it will clear that first. And I came upon that combination by accident, because I came to my yoga nidra a couple of times, and I think at one point I had vetiver with me, and I put vetiver on my hands, and I thought, no, I need to use rosemary because I'm completely like brain foggy. So
mm,
I put literally mixed them both together, breathed them in, and within a nanosecond, because believe you me, the intelligence of the plants, it doesn't mess about. It just literally
mm,
gets into our olfactory
mm,
system
mm,
quick, and then whoosh, it works super quickly. I had this almost like a flurry of up and down at the same time. And
mm,
then I lay down in my yoga nidra, and I just remember feeling simultaneously grounded and clear,
mm,
grounded and clear. And I came out of that and I just thought, I didn't realize I actually needed to feel both. And
mm,
I wouldn't have put them together ordinarily, but
mm.
it was so. And so then I tried it much more intentionally, and it did the same. It's like, do you know, this is a thing. We just need to trust our intuition and trust that intelligence of the oils, and it will work to whatever our needs are at that time.
Beautiful. I'm conscious of time, and I want to ensure that everyone gets to do their 15-minute session, which for those of you that are joining a little bit after we started tonight's conversation, if you scroll up to the top of the chat, you'll see that there's a link there. It was also sent to you in advance of this evening, and that's a YouTube link. What we're going to be doing this evening, and we'll come on to talk about the why in a minute, but we're going to be doing a guided practice with Lisa talking us through it, but it's actually a pre-record so that you do really benefit from those vibrational frequencies that we're going to talk about in a second. But I just want to make sure that everyone's got that ready, because what I want to talk with you about first, Lisa, is We've sort of touched on the essential oils and the kind of the value they bring. For people that haven't experienced a sound bath before and haven't understood the science behind it, you touched earlier on the cells and the way that they respond to frequencies. But I was going to share with the group this evening my first experience, which was actually with you 4 years ago when we were in lockdown. So it's probably a little bit longer, actually, maybe. It feels like a gazillion years ago and also yesterday. But it was during the pandemic. And for those of you who have been with us a long time, I can see some people in the chat here are some of our early beginners of the MPOWDER community. But we had a series of masterclasses during that first lockdown because we were all feeling incredibly anxious. And MPOWDER was actually only a couple of months old. We launched just before the first pandemic. So it was this really early cohort of females navigating midlife, scared, frightened, as we all were. And I met Lisa, and you and I, Lisa, talked about whether it was actually humanly possible to do a sound bath over Zoom. We were still working out what Zoom was and how to make it work. We all now use it like it's a spoon, but obviously at the time it felt very stressful to even use Zoom. And I remember dialing into a practice session with you, and I didn't know what to expect. And you actually started to make some sounds. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I remember just hearing the trilling of the dawn chorus. And I said to you at the time, that's really odd. That sounds like, the morning, the sound of the morning. And you told me that basically nature and animals respond to these frequencies. And then I remember doing the workshop with this early cohort of community members, and those of them that had dogs in the room, literally the dogs just zonked out. It was just the most fascinating experience where everyone's dogs, who were also kind of hyper vigilant as we all were during the pandemic, everyone calmed down, everything calmed down. It was almost like Mother Nature, yeah, made that happen for us. So can you talk to me about what happens? What's the science behind the way that we respond to sound?
Yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting, and it's an ancient modality. Sound healing is sound medicine is an ancient modality. And as I mentioned about the cellular palpation almost of the sound vibrations, I work specifically with alchemy crystal tone bowls. Let's get you one just to show.
Yes.
I won't play it, but I just want to show you. So these are quartz crystal, and you can see maybe in the light, you've got this
Mm.
rainbow effect, and they're called alchemy crystal bowls because they've got alchemical elements within them. And this has got a sheen of platinum imbued in the crystal. And I've got bowls that have charcoal, so we've got minerals, we've got precious metals and other crystals amongst the quartz. And so that in itself is just, for me, it's just, whoa, it's
Oh,
mind
interesting.
blowing. It's
Yeah,
mind
yeah,
blowing.
yeah.
Because what we're doing when we receive the sound, of course, we're hearing them and we
Hmm.
hear beautiful tone, this pure tone of a crystal. And if you imagine, how much we love our solid crystals, and we know of the incredible potency of the energetics from a solid crystal. They're in our computers, they're in our watches, they're in our phones, in our
Mm.
TV screens. We know that they hold a very strong structured matrix of energy. When we receive the vibrational frequency of the sound, which is what we do when we hear the sound, our bodies receive the frequency of that solid crystal. So we're almost receiving the energetics of that crystal in audible form, and our bodies are also crystalline structured. We have an incredibly receptive skeletal frame. We have calcium in our bones, we have minerals throughout our body. We're really almost like we're optimized. Our spine almost acts like a conductor for sound to move along. We know that sound travels really easily through fluids, through water, and our body, if a healthy body, 70 to 80% water. And so, and also the vibrations, they travel through the fascia in our system. It's almost like our bodies are primed to be vehicles for vibrations and frequencies to work through. And we shouldn't really be surprised
No,
because
oh, it's fascinating, isn't it?
we're vibrational beings. Our
Mm.
plants are vibrational beings, our dogs are vibrational beings. We are incredibly sensitized to vibration. Even when someone walks in the room, we often say, oh, the energy's a bit off. It doesn't feel right. What is that? That is
Mm,
vibration, that is energy. And we're so used to saying, oh, about the vibes and about, oh, she's a bit sensitive. Da, da. It's true. We feel
mm,
the vibrations, we sense it. And it's not woo woo. It's physics, it's chemistry, it's biology. And we talked
mm,
about, this is the biochemical response. And this is almost an extension of our auric field. Receiving the sound vibration in our physical body clears the almost the residue of, I'm going to say, static that so often is congested in our outer field, which is our biofield. And so our physical body, of course, we have our skin and we have our organs, but we don't end there. We
mm,
don't end there. We've got this, okay, it's invisible to the naked eye, but it's sensed, this biofield, this energy field. And the sound vibrations, they work on the physical layer, but they work through the physical layer and they work into the biofield. And the sound vibrations act as, I'm going to say, like a hoover. They clear it out. They clear out the debris. They clear out the static buildup of unprocessed emotions, for example,
mm,
stuff that we've just not let go of energetically, and also things that are causing blockages in our physical system. Often people, when they receive sound healing, vibrational therapy, they'll often say, oh, it's like you were massaging my belly where my old scar is, or where I've had a congestion, or where I've got gallstones, or where I've got some form of a physical blockage. The sound will kind of like go to that like a bloody hammer. And so I gotta say, sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes the
mm.
body feels a little bit like, oh, there's something going on in my shoulder and it doesn't feel good. When the sound stops, that's when the integration happens. That's when the body can actually go, almost like you've put your foot on a hose pipe, and the build up, the build up, the build up. And then when you release, that's when the flood can happen in the energetic
Mm,
system. So for me, sound, uh, I'm going to say sound, I'm working with oils. Sound, it's like quantum physics. It works on
mm.
the quantum level, it works on a vibrational frequency, but it's not woo woo.
No.
Experience, and it's been studied and it's been taught for thousands of years, and we need to get our brains around it so that we can actually go, yeah, it's part of my treatment, it's part of my practice.
Yeah.
I tune in, I tune up my body through vibrational frequency. And we don't need to think that we're doing it. We just need to come and lie down and receive.
Yeah.
But because in our session this evening, we're exploring a little bit about the benefits of it. Actually, it will make more sense when we go to our yoga studio and we go and we have a sound bath. Actually, we're bathing in these vibrational frequencies, which are totally, they're replenishing, they're clearing, they recalibrate, they support our body to find more harmony. We become more in tune with our own natural rhythm. And all of this on our hormonal journey, it's like, give me whatever you can, because it's natural. It doesn't cost much, especially because we've got our beautiful opportunity to have downloads and we can just do these.
Mm,
Or you can go to your studio, your yoga studio, or you can get yourself a bowl and you can
yes.
do it yourself. You can harmonize your own frequencies. So hopefully that's a little bit of an
That
explanation.
really explains it. And then I've got my oil ready because I know what we're going to do as a team is hopefully you've all got the YouTube link ready to go. Lisa's
Yes.
going to very quickly explain to us how to apply our essential oils. And then what we'll do is Lisa and I will stay on the Zoom and we'd love you to just keep this tab open as well. And we'll turn off our videos because I'm going to take part as well and Lisa's going to take part. And then there will be 5 minutes at the end. And we'd love it if you're able to return to the chat and tell us how you feel. No pressure at all. If you completely just zone and fade out and you just want to go back to the rest of your day or just doze off into your evening, that's absolutely fine as well. But obviously we're here to answer questions and reflections. So if you do want to come back and join us, please do. Lisa, I'll hand over to you now to instruct us on how we get ourselves ready and then we'll get going.
Okay, so what? Hopefully you've got your little nest ready, whether that's your sofa or whether that's something like that down there. And what I'd love us to do, whatever oil you've got, whether it's a geranium or eucalyptus or a beautiful blend, I want us to maybe just do a couple of beautiful oil anointments. And the first one, we're just going to put it in the palm of the hand. So roll into the palm of the hand or drop your oil into the palm of the hand. And you're just going to rub the palms together and then get it over the wrists also. And as you're rubbing your palms together, bring the palms close to your nose. So this is a very simple palm inhalation practice. You're rubbing the palms together, which warms up the oils like almost like a heated diffuser would, you kind of, and this activates the molecules of the oils. So oils are volatile molecules, so they react to the air. So we want to take advantage of that and breathe that oil in. And this beautiful practice of literally breathing, when we're taking our 3 inhales, I want us to allow that exhale to be slightly longer than the inhale. So stop rubbing the hands together, bring the palms to the face, and then open the palms like you're opening up a chapter or pages of a book. And just take 3 breaths. And your breath, it can be in for the count of 4, and maybe out for the count of 8. So maybe we're extending the exhale twice as long. And we're breathing in nice and slowly, gently, and you're lengthening that exhale. And our last one together, breathing in. And just allow that exhale to be just really gentle and almost linger on that exhale. And this practice is really sending that signal to our parasympathetic nervous system that it's calm, it's safe to relax. And notice having an oil, it's almost that gift to breathe deeper, which again, it's a tool for us to use. It's a reminder, it's a sensorial reminder to connect to our breath. When you have an oil, you just want to smell it. And that beautiful practice of taking a beautiful conscious breath is deeply nourishing for our nervous system. So even if that's all we do, if you're at the desk at work or if you're in the car or whatever, that job done. But let's just get it on our feet also before we come to lie down. So again, I'm going to say, take your socks off. You've got your bed socks on. And what I'd like you to do is roll the oil around the ankle joint. So the ankle, both inner ankle and outer ankle, and on your foot. So you need to do both. And what I'd like us to do is just massage the oil around the outer ankle and the inner ankle and the sole of the foot. So I'm specifically, Rebecca, that you can see, I'm really wanting to massage this point of the sole of the foot in the middle underneath the balls of the feet. And this again, I'm not going to talk about too much, but we're hitting points on our kidney meridian and our kidney meridian around the ankle and our bladder meridian around the outer ankle. And so this is incredibly beneficial for hormonal balancing, for energy replenishment. We're stimulating points of the bladder and the kidney meridian to really, again, draw that energy downwards, but keep everything flowing. We want to stimulate our body to really allow flow and fluidity back in. So we're creating harmony. And believe me, when you're touching your body, you're sending such a powerful signal to your body that bring that energy to this part where I'm touching. And so we're sending a signal through our own touch, using the oils on a certain part of the body just to create that flow. And anything, massaging your feet with an essential oil is deeply, deeply relaxing. So do your other foot in case you've only just done one. And kidney 1 is a beautiful point to work with. That's in the sole of the foot, around about here, in the center of the foot, underneath the balls of the feet. And here I really love to work with earthy, grounding, rooting oils like vetiver, like cedarwood, and almost visualize your rooting into the earth, you're connecting to the roots of that tree. And Devon, if your eucalyptus oil, if you're feeling a little bit chesty, if you feel like you want to clear your throat, then absolutely, you slather it on your chest, darling. You put it all on and you put it onto the heart space in the chest. Eucalyptus oil is an incredible oil for really stimulating the airways. So it'll be a really beautiful clearing oil for the lungs. So super simple practice. I don't know about you, but my feet are doing this. They're really loving the fact we've given them a little bit of attention.
Yeah.
Okay, so with your oils suitably into your body, I want you to come to lie down. And so, Rebecca, you find your spot, my darling.
I will. I'm gonna turn off my video so that you don't just see me
Yeah,
zonk out. But
don't hear you
I'll see
snoring.
you all on the other side, lovely people.
On the other side. And so you've got the YouTube link. And the YouTube link, I guide you into the practice also. So I'm not going to talk to you or guide you. It's a 15-minute session, and I use my voice to guide you. And then we have a beautiful sound bath. And this is all about you to rest and receive. So I'm going to join you also. I'm going to put my headphones on. And so make sure you're comfortable, and you can put your headphones on and you can press play on the YouTube link, and we'll come back to you in 15 minutes.
It's amazing, isn't it? 15 minutes of practice. I'm not sure whether people are still lying in a blissful spot. And if you are, that's absolutely fine. If you are still with us, I'd love your reflections into the chat. We're going to be wrapping up in 3 minutes anyway. Oh my goodness, Devon, that's such a beautiful comment. Yes. Oh, a slogan as well. I have to say, having now experienced quite a number of these sessions, I would say that Lisa is the alchemist in the room. I don't think I've ever had a sort of sound experience with anyone else quite like the ones that you are able to deliver, Lisa. Devon says, I didn't realize how much tension I was holding in, but I could feel it melt away. Me too. It was, yeah, I could feel actually, I was thinking about where the sounds go, and I was struggling a bit with sciatica at the moment, and I could feel my leg throbbing through that left leg right down to my ankle. Lisa says, great, wonderful experience. And S. Logan says, well, amazing. Well, I think what's so beautiful, and thank you so much for generosity, Lisa, is that we've all got this 15-minute
Yeah,
session that we can return to. And actually, lying there just now as I was coming around, I was thinking, I'm gonna commit to do this
yeah.
for a week and see what happens, because I think we're all carrying a lot. We're in that period of life. Those of you in the States, I know you're hurtling into all kinds of commitments that come with Thanksgiving. As the world draws in, I feel that we often retreat a little bit as women as well as we head into winter. So maybe we should all promise to each other we're going to give this a go across the week. Lisa's saying she could feel a throbbing in her chest.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, it's just a 15-minute session. And I know Rebecca and I were toying with the idea of doing a much longer session and a live
Mm,
session. And actually, what we wanted to do is to give you almost like an all-round experience, just within this hour of the practice, so that you can do it on your own. You
mm,
can work with the oils, you can refer back and just think about what oils you could work with, even just that palm inhalation practice to get to get the oils into your system. And we just did a very little bit of palpation, in terms of the massage, but you can extend that. And when you go to those sessions at your yoga studio in 45 minutes, you get yourself into this. Our body has beautiful anchors, aromatic anchoring and auditory anchoring. We know that because we have a smell and go, oh, that takes me right back. Or we hear this
mm.
music, oh my God, that's like an 80s track that I remember, and you can take yourself back there straight away. So just to have this 15 minutes, I know it doesn't seem a lot, but already we've had experiences in our body that will remain. And as you said, Rebecca, if we do more and more, if we're diligent. And I wanted to say, I was sat up, and a 15-minute sound meditation, you can do it in your car. You can get your headphones, you can do
Mm,
it in the car. You can, if you're at an appointment early, you can just get your headphones on, take 2 3 deep breaths, and actually just listen. And it's absolutely, it's like you're plugging in to something that is beyond our, we don't have to necessarily do any guiding ourselves. Plug into that 15 minutes and just see how it replenishes you. And of course, do longer sessions and lie down and
yeah.
get sleepy, and then just go straight to sleep.
Thank you so much to all of you that have joined us live tonight. It's always such a pleasure to feel the community live, and to all of you that are tuning in afterwards. We hope that you find this as special as we have sharing it as a community this evening. Or as always, if you've got questions for the Health Concierge team, please know that you can email us, which is healthconcierge@mpowder.store. And as always, I would love to see you here in December. Our next session is with a wonderful practitioner, Penny Flynn, who's an author, podcast. Yeah, she's such a treat. So for December, please make time in your diary. She's going to be talking about flow journaling, which is a concept she's developed out of her own years and years of training as a therapist. And it truly is a wonderful tool, particularly as we head into the Christmas season, in terms of ordering, letting go, and using the concept and the science behind journaling to help balance your hormones. So we hope to see you in December. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a lovely evening, everyone.